this video, we're going to cover like the very basics of Linux so that you can at least navigate inside the virtual environment. And I'm just going to open WSL. The command that I want to show you first is basically in Windows, we could easily navigate inside of our file system, like we could go here. This is basically like the root directory, because basically the file system starts here, and we can see all of the folders and files that are inside, this particular folder, and then we can double click to go inside a folder and see all of its files and directories. And we can go to the parent directory, we can go back to the previous directory, and all of that. We can easily do that in Windows because we have a graphical interface. But in Linux or in the virtual environment, in the virtual machine, we only have this command line. So we have to write a command for everything to even see, the contents of the current directory that we are in. So as you can see, like this tilde actually means the home directory. It doesn't show, the actual path. It just shows tilde, which is a shorthand for the home directory. But if we want to see the full directory path and name, then we can use this pwd command, which means print working directory. And once we use pwd, you can see like we are actually in home and legend is just, the username. So basically we are inside the legend directory, which is inside the home directory, which is inside, the root directory, something like that. And if I want to see the contents of this directory, then what do? Then I just use this ls command, which means list. Okay, so it basically lists out all of the content that are in our current directory. So if I do ls, it would show me this. So it's basically color coded. So blue, this color is actually for the directories, and this is usually for files. And you can see like the links, if there are any links. Okay, so those would be represented in, I think, a lighter blue color. We can also list, maybe we can use -L to show more information about all of the contents. So, and now you can see that we have something written here. You would learn later that this is actually the permissions. And the first letter of this basically output, you can see it is D in some places, and then this is dash in some places. So when this is D, it just means directory. So it tells you like all of these blue content, that is actually a directory. And if you see these dashes, the dashes stand for, the files. Okay, so you can see the output and in the long format. So -L, L is just for long. So this is how we see the contents inside a directory. And you can see like in Windows, it's really easy. If we just click it open, then we can see the content. We can even go inside the directory easily. So basically in Linux, if we want to see what is inside, our current directory, then we just used the list command or ls command, and it would show you like all the folders and files. Okay, and now let's say I want to go inside some directory. Let's say I want to go inside this OPPE practice directory. Then how do I do that? So I use this change directory command. cd command means change directory, and I just write the name of the directory. So you can do OPPE practice because I want to go here, and you can see now we are actually in the OPPE practice directory. And if I want to print out the full path of this directory, I can do pwd print working directory. Then you can see this is the full path. This is inside, the legend, which is our home directory, and inside that, this OPPE NPPE practice directory exists. Okay, so it gives us the full path, and I want to see the content inside this folder, then I'm just going to do ls, and you can see there is only one folder. If we want to, we can go inside this folder using cd, and we are inside this folder, that we can do ls to see what is inside it, and you can see like there are more folders. We can go into this p1 folder and see like what's in it. So we can see like this, there is a file inside it, and this file is actually it's green in color. So there's some other color. We can also do -l to see like this is still a file because it's showing dash as the first letter. And we can go back, so I can go to the parent directory. Like I want to go back to the parent directory. Let's just print the full path. You can see that this is the full path. So the parent directory of this folder that I'm in, this p1 folder, is gonna be this. So I want to go back to this. So how do I do that? So I just do cd dot dot. So this double dot represents the parent directory. So if I click, you can see that now I am in the parent directory of this p1. I can go back again by doing cd dot dot, and now back to the parent directory. And so cd dot 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 actually stands for parent directory. If I do cd dot dot actually stands for the current directory. So if I do cd dot, then it would do nothing. It would just bring me to the same current directory. So that doesn't do anything. So now we know how to go to the parent directory. Let's say I want to go to the previous directory. So whichever directory I was before I came into the current one. So I can do cd minus to do that. So you can see like the previous directory was also NPPE practice. So we just came back to it. If I do it again, then it is just bringing me back to the same directory. Let's say I can go to, let's look at the folders, and I can go to, NPPE 10, and now we do cd minus, then it brings me back to, NPPE practice because that was the previous directory. So, this would work. The use of this command would make more sense if I show you. Let's say we are just we are currently in NPPE practice, and I go to, let's say the P2 folder, which is, in NPPE 10 folder. So I can do, NPPE 10/P1 because I already know that inside this directory we have NPPE 10 directory, and inside that directory we have P1 directory. So I'm just writing the path to P1 directory using the cd command, and you can see now we are inside the P1 directory. So now if I use cd dot dot, then I'm going to go to NPPE 10, but I don't want to go to the parent directory. I want to go to the previous directory. The previous directory was NPPE practice. So if we use cd minus, then you can see we actually go back to the previous directory instead of the parent directory. So that is the use of cd minus. And there's also one more thing we can use, which is cd tilde. So in the beginning I told you that tilde stands for the home directory, and we saw the full path of this is this. So if we just do cd tilde, it would take us to the home directory. So you can see now we are back in the home directory. And now if I do cd minus, it would bring me back to NPPE practice. Okay, and you can see we're back in NPPE practice. So what did we learn today? And there's actually one more command, which is clear. So this will just clear the terminal. So if we have used a lot of commands and it's just cluttered, we can use this command, clear, or we can use the shortcut ctrl+l, which does the same thing. So we learned some things like how to look inside the current folder, the content that is inside the current folder. We do that by the list command or ls command. How to go to how to navigate inside the folders, how to go to the parent directory, how to go inside a certain directory, how to go back to the previous directory, and how to go to the home directory. So I told you about cd to go into some folder, some directory that is inside the current directory, then we can just do write cd, which means change directory, and then write the name of the folder, name of the directory that we want to go into, and it would take us inside that directory. Okay, so it's really simple. And if I want to go back to, the parent directory, then I can use cd dot dot, where dot dot actually stands for the parent directory. So now you can see, like, I went back to npp practice when I was inside, npp 10. And there's also cd minus command, which takes us to the previous directory. So I know that I was in the npp 10 directory, then I went to, this directory, which is the parent. So if I do cd minus, then I would go to npp 10 directory, the previous directory. So you can see I'm back into npp 10. And there's also one more, we can also navigate to the home directory by writing tilde. So that's where you can see, we are inside the home directory. So this is it. And we also learn, we can write clear to clear up the screen, or we can actually use a shortcut called, ctrl+l, and that does the same thing as clear. So that's it for this video.